Officials are Jack Madden and Joe Belmont. Artis Gilmore at 7-2 against CJ at 6-11. And we get a whistle off the tip as they both made contact with the ball, and there is a foul called immediately on Caldwell Jones. So just as we have noted, the last few times these teams have played, Caldwell Jones seems to pick up a foul on literally the first play of the game, and that immediately perhaps indicates things to come, as he is prone to getting into foul difficulty when playing against Gilmore, and indeed he went to 7 fouls in Sunday's overtime game, and that hurt the Spirits dearly. From the foul line, Will Jones, a running one-hander, is short. The rebound is taken by Marvin Barnes. Up court to Ron Boone. The Booner across the line on the left, top of the key. It's knocked out of his hands by Will Jones. Out of bounds it goes, and it will belong to the Spirits. Spirits dressed in the orange uniforms with the silver trim. Kentucky in white, trimmed in red and blue. Spirit ball on the side. ML Carr into Ron Boone. He is guarded by Bird Averett. On the dribble in three-point territory, puts on the brakes. Swing it top of the key to Freddie Lewis. He is watched by Louis Dampier. In the lane, CJ. The turnaround is no good. He has now missed 11 in a row. The ball is knocked out of bounds, and it will belong to Kentucky. CJ coming off an 0 for 10 stretch in the Sunday game at the arena, misses his first one here. Kentucky has won 3 of their last 4, the last 2 in overtime. Saturday here against San Antonio, Sunday in St. Louis against the Spirits. Gilmore dishes out to Averett. A three-pointer is no good. He had made 6 of his last 10 three-point attempts, including 3 in a row down the stretch in St. Louis a couple of days ago. But this one was no good from 25. Bounced over the backboard and out of bounds, and the Spirits put it in play. We've gone almost a minute with no score. Lewis out of the backcourt with a right-hand dribble. Picked up by Dampier. Out of the foul circle, Carr, left side, Boone. He is hand-checked by Bird Averett. The Booner looking inside, holding the ball over the head, then giving to CJ. He drives the lane and throws it up and hits. So Caldwell Jones finally finds the mark from the field, and the Spirits are on the board first at 2-0. Averett to the front court. Lucas holds it high, flips low post to Gilmore. Double team. Looked like he traveled. No call. He was fouled as he went up with the left-hand hook. We are simulcasting tonight's game once again. Radio on WIL, TV on Channel 11, so our television viewers will understand that our description is in a radio style. And Arlene Weltman is at my side at the color microphone.
Thank you, Bob. While Artis is taking his shot, I'd like to point out that over the course of the season, the Spirits have outscored other teams from the field by 97 points. They have had 109 more rebounds than other teams, but the other teams have gone to the free throw line over 200 times more than they have. I think that's one of the great stories in our losses.
Gilmore hits the first. The second is no good, and Kentucky knocks it out of bounds. So the Spirits play it in, up by 1 at 2-1. Out of the backcourt, Freddie Lewis. Louis Dampier is right with him. Those 2 players and Byron Beck of Denver, the only 3 remaining ABA originals. Way outside, Ron Boone in three-point territory. Brings the dribble in corner. In closer, takes it baseline, and missed the lunging one-hander for no explainable reason. He seemed to be home free and missed it badly. Into the front court, Averett. Bounce pass right sideline for Will Jones. He is hand-checked by Carr. Loaded Gilmore, and a whistle as he makes his move. They call him for traveling. One of the major upsets of the night in the early going as Gilmore is called for steps.
That's probably the only time you'll see it tonight, and he does it almost every time he has the ball.
Boone throws into Freddie Lewis. Lewis slowly out of the backcourt, and Dampier again picks him up. Jack Madden and Joe Belmont, the officials. Here is Marvin Barnes from the right sideline and hitting. As he picks up where he left off, he cranked up 40 shots on Sunday night and hit exactly half of them, making 20 field goals and 9 of 10 from the free throw line for a total of 49. The Spirits' season high last year, 554 against Memphis, which is the Spirits' individual record. Gilmore in the lane has it slapped away and stolen by ML Carr. He brings the dribble out on a 4-on-2, dishes to Barnes, who lays it in. Marvin has now scored 4 points. CJ had a bucket earlier, and the Spirits lead by a score of 6-1 with 9:30 to play in the first period. Louis Dampier to Bird Averett. Averett guarded by Boone. Up high, Will Jones. Watched by ML Carr. In the lane, Lucas for the dunk. Lucas slipping inside and stuffing it through. Luke was ejected on Sunday night after he bumped into official Bob Serafin. He said it was an accident. Serafin contended it was intentional. It came right after a controversial no goaltending call by Serafin on a block by ML Carr, and the final minute of regulation and the entire overtime being thrown out. ML Carr misses a 20-footer. Kentucky rebounds. Dampier baseline to Will Jones. His turnaround is banked in. Good move by Will Jones. 6-5. Kentucky back to within one with 8:45 to play in quarter number one. Lewis again, quarterbacking the Spirit offense. Into the front court against the defense of Dampier with a one bounce to Barnes, who holds the ball at his hip. High post facing the basket, CJ. Off to Ron Boone. In the lane to a cutting Lewis. Fakes Dampier, has it moved away, but we get a foul on the play. And they say not an active shooting foul, as Freddie was not on his way up, but a personal against Dampier, and the Spirits will inbound from underneath the basket. Lewis appeared to be home free after faking Dampier, but then Louis got a hand on it. Into Marvin for the baseline jumper that is no good. He had to double pump as the Colonel got a hand on his face, making him change his shot and causing him to miss it. Kentucky comes down with the boards, and Dampier comes back the other way. Holds up one finger indicating the set play. Baseline Lucas drives on Barnes. Reverse layup will drop. What a personal foul is called against the Spirits. M.L. Carr, Marvin Barnes, Freddie Lewis, all there. And the personal called on Carr as he tried to help Barnes with the defense on Lucas. We saw Luke make pretty much that same move a couple of games ago against the Spirits, and that time it nearly dropped, spun out, but he shoots 2 free throws, and let's pause for a moment.
Now it's time for a cold Stag. Sit back with a cold Stag and enjoy the game. Stag beer, you've got a good thing going Stag. Stag beer.
Lucas, a 78% free throw shooter, made the first and the second. Kentucky has run 6 straight after the Spirits led 6-1. They lead now 7-6. Ron Boone has trouble in the backcourt, recovers. Now the Spirits have to get it across in 10 seconds. Lewis is hounded but clears the line with a pass to CJ. He hands to the Booner. Off the baseline left, takes it inside, reverse layup, drops in. Ron Boone on a tough drive. The Spirits regain the lead early in period number 1, 8-7, and with 7:58 to play in the quarter, Kentucky wants a timeout. This is Spirits of St. Louis basketball. The Kentucky Colonel cheerleaders out on the floor now as both teams confer with their respective coaches. And Arlene, on the television side, one of those girls will be your guest at halftime.
Yes, and you can't see her. She just moved off camera. I apologize. I said last time that we were going to do the little black boy who dances, Colonel Superfly, and he's homesick. I assume it's the flu since we all seem to have it.
Yeah, you've got a touch of it.
Yes, I do.
Struggling along.
How do you have just a touch of the flu?
I don't know. That's what they say. After the timeout, the ball belongs to Kentucky by a score of 8-7. 7 minutes and 58 seconds remaining in quarter number 1, Freedom Hall in Louisville. The Colonels have beaten the Spirits 8 out of 10 times this season. Many of the games have been very close, and the Colonels have not dominated the Spirits the way that margin would seem to indicate, but nonetheless, they have 8 victories against the Spirits 2. Averett, a miss on a driving layup, Spirit ball, back the other way. M.L. Carr out of the corner, in the lane Marvin, spins, drives the lane, throw up the semi-hook, it won't drop. Rebound kept alive by CJ, saved on the baseline, take it back up with the hook that's good. So Caldwell Jones has 2 field goals for 4 points, and the Spirits lead 10-7. Coming back the other way is Louis Dampier. Lucas wanted the ball in the corner, didn't get it. Down low to Gilmore. Barnes went for a steal. He doesn't get back. And M.L. Carr cringes under the basket as Gilmore slams it through. M.L. is laughing coming back the other way. If that ball had come down on his head, he could have very well suffered a concussion.
Or if Gilmore had come down on his head.
I'm telling you, Gilmore rifled that thing through. Here's C.J. from the foul line, and what a contrast to 2 nights ago as he puts in his 3rd field goal in the first period after going scoreless from the floor in the entire game on Sunday. Now Will Jones at the other end has his driving layup blocked by C.J. Fans wanted a goaltending call. Spirits down on a break. Barnes missing inside, but he was fouled by Gilmore. So now the Spirits up by 3 at 12-9 with 6:46 to play in the first period. And Gilmore draws his first and the team's first. And Marvin Barnes goes to the free throw line for a pair. Barnes on the season, a 76% free throw shooter. Puts it up with the right hand, and it is no good. One more coming for last year's ABA Rookie of the Year. Ball is in play as he puts this one in the air and in the bucket. 13-9, the Spirits by 4. Averett fires to the front court where Louis Dampier takes control. Dampier's 25 on Sunday night was his season's high. That used to be about an average game for him. Head of the foul circle, Lucas, played by Barnes. Looks inside for Gilmore, finds him in the lane for the hook that is good. 13-11, the Colonels to within a bucket. Freddie Lewis yells for the set play as he walks the dribble across the midcourt line. Lewis flips it high post back to the basket to C.J. Gilmore comes right out on him. C.J. wheels with the dribble and hooks, and it will not drop. The rebound knocked around. Lucas, number 2 in the league, comes out with it. Boone knocks it out of his hands and out of bounds. Luke was leading the ABA in rebounding while playing center for the Spirits. He drops to number 2 now with the Colonels behind his teammate, Artis Gilmore. Dampier holds up one finger for the set play. Back the other way as the Colonels look for a tying basket. Three-point territory. Lucas out to Dampier. Long bomb. Three-pointer way overshot. Out of bounds off the hands of Will Jones underneath the basket. Despite Jones's claim that Marvin Barnes was last to touch it. Boone into Barnes, then right back to the Booner. Last year member of the All-ABA team in the backcourt along with Denver's Mac Calvin. Here is Boone's side of the circle. Holds the ball away from Averett. Looks for help. Whips it top of the key to C.J. Shake move against Gilmore. Run one-hander. Spins out. Rebound Lucas. Looks up court for the break. Finds nobody. Outlet goes to Averett out near midcourt. Averett around Marvin Barnes who leaves him free. Bounces to Will Jones. Working against Carr with the jump from the side. Then spins out and bounces to Ron Boone. Boone looks up court. Decides to bring the dribble across himself. Gives to Lewis. Underneath intended for Carr. Intercepted by Jones. Back ahead of the field is Lucas. He stuffs it. They are tied at 13. Lucas all alone at the other end of the court. And after Freddie Lewis's pass was intercepted by Will Jones, an excellent defensive player, he spotted Lucas for the easy bucket. Here is Barnes, top of the key, off to C.J. His jumper is good. So Caldwell Jones has hit 4 times from the field in the first period for 8 points. And the Spirits lead again, 15-13. Averett on the dribble against Ron Boone. Out of the right corner, Will Jones. Down low, Gilmore. Body bumped by Jones. C.J., that is. Out to Averett for a short jumper that's good. Averett operating on the baseline and tying the game at 15. 4 minutes and 41 seconds remaining in period 1. And you may be able to hear in the background the bird call that they set off at Freedom Hall every time Bird Averett hits a field goal, which can get to be a trifle annoying.
They should do something for artists.
What would you suggest?
I don't know. The call of the wild ostrich. I don't know. What would you do?
I don't know. I'd probably leave well enough alone. Barnes, a spinning one-hander that goes in and out. The rebound is loose underneath, and Will Jones and Ron Boone battling for it. And apparently the call is going to go against the Booner, and it will be Kentucky ball out of bounds. I recall being greatly annoyed when watching the Knicks and the Bullets, late 60s, early 70s, living in New York, how whenever a Bullet would score in Baltimore, they would set off that ridiculous gun that would fire a bullet. You know, a game where there's 120 points scored, all night long, drive you right up the wall.
But they have that cute little dog.
Yeah, that dog runs around here. Then again, nobody else knows what we're talking about. Here's Averett from the foul line. A running one-hander off the back of the rim, no good. Gilmore follows and misses, and the rebound is taken down by Caldwell Jones. He gets it out to Barnes, who hands to Freddie Lewis. Lewis across the line on the left, even up at 15. Freddie pulls for the jump. That is no good. The rebound taken by Will Jones. Outlet near midcourt to Dampier. Moves it across, out of the circle, stops and pops. He got it. 17-15, Kentucky by a bucket. 3:45 to play in quarter 1. Freddie Lewis back the other way. Dampier is on it. Back to the basket at the foul line. C.J. down low. Boone. He lays it in. Off a fine assist from Caldwell Jones as the Booner moved in from the sideline. His second field goal. Both in tight, and he scored 4 points. The Bird back the other way. Right corner, Will Jones. Watched by M.L. Carr. Puts the ball on the floor, then throws baseline for Gilmore. He gives to Averett. Shake move on Boone. Throw up a hook on the run through the lane. No good. Follows his own shot and hits. Averett getting his own rebound as everybody stood around and watched.
I think everybody was so concerned about boxing out, nobody remembered to go for the rebound.
19-17, Colonels again by 2. Lewis drives the lane, dishes out to Boone. 20-foot one-hander is no good. Rebound is taken by Artis Gilmore, knocked out of his hands by Barnes. Gilmore goes back to recover it. Loops it out of there to Louis Dampier. Dampier comes across to the top of the key, working against Lewis. Right corner, Will Jones. Fakes the jumper. We get a whistle. And either a walking violation or a foul, and it is steps called on Will Jones. The Spirits ask for a timeout with 2:46 to play in the first quarter. St. Louis trails Kentucky 19-17. And this is Spirits basketball. Kentucky Colonels leading the Spirits of St. Louis by a basket. Kentucky is 33 up and 27 down on the season. 2.5 behind third place San Antonio. 2.5 ahead of fifth place Indiana. And seemingly in pretty good shape, resting in fourth place and assured of a playoff berth. As far as the Spirits are concerned, they were in good position, we thought, about a week ago, closing in on fifth place and with an outside shot at fourth. They have absorbed 3 consecutive very tough losses, all of them hanging in the balance until the final moments and then slipping away late in the fourth period. They have dropped to 26 and 35, 6 and 8 under Joe Mullaney since the All-Star break, and again a full 5 games back of the Indiana Pacers, against whom they have one more head-to-head confrontation, and that comes up this Friday at the arena in St. Louis. That's ladies' night, and we'll tell you more about that in a minute. Spirit ball after the timeout. CJ in a crowd, double team, bounces it out to Freddie Lewis, top of the key ML Carr. Long jumper is good. It ties the game at 17. Kentucky has gone to their bench. Artis Gilmore has gone out. Jim McDaniels reported, and they have a brand new backcourt with Dampier and Averett going to the bench, replaced by Kevin Joyce and Johnny Newman. Spirits stay with the starting lineup. Lucas driving inside, has the ball taken away by Caldwell Jones, and we will have a jump ball as the ball was kind of wedged between the bodies of CJ and Lucas. So with about a 2.5-inch height advantage, CJ would appear to have the edge here. Jack Madden puts it up, and the tip is controlled by the Spirits as Freddie Lewis picks it up on a hop. Into the front court for ML Carr. Along the left sideline, a long one-hander is in and out, and the rebound is taken by Jim McDaniels. The former Western Kentucky star who has never quite panned out in the pros gets it to Joyce, whose pass is intercepted by Boone at the other end. Back come the Spirits. ML Carr, fans thought he walked. Top of the key to Ron Boone, guarded by Johnny Newman, spins baseline, stops and lets it go, overshot it, rebound swatted outside by CJ. He picks it up, gives to Carr, head of the key, back to CJ, backing Lucas low, and a 3-second violation is called against the Spirits as Marvin Barnes did not get out of the lane. Remaining tied at 19 with 1:35 to play in the first period, and let's pause for a moment.
Breakfast at McDonald's is a great way to start off your morning. Hot cakes and sausage, scrambled eggs and sausage, egg McMuffin, 4 kinds of juice and coffee. McDonald's in the morning. It's as natural as the sunrise.
Kevin Joyce missed a jumper from the top of the key for Kentucky. McDaniels rebounded, and he was fouled on the play by Freddie Lewis, knocking the ball out of his grasp. So Johnny Newman will throw it in from right in front of our broadcast location. With the score tied at 19 and a minute 20 to play in the first period. In it goes to Will Jones, who almost had Newman run by his pass, but Joyce was there to pick it up. Then Joyce's pass intended for Newman is intercepted by Barnes, and he throws ahead to ML Carr, who dunks it in. So the Spirits get a cheap bucket and lead by 2 at 21-19 with exactly 1 minute to play in the first quarter. Newman in three-point territory to Lucas left sideline, jumps over Barnes and misses from 15 feet. CJ bobbles the rebound. McDaniels knocked it away. Carr comes out with it, bounces it to Lewis. He brings it across, behind the back flip to Carr, drives, lay it up, and a foul. He missed the one-hander, but he was fouled on the play. And the personal goes against Will Jones, and ML Carr goes to the free throw line. And once again, let's pause for a moment.
Great Buick dealers of Greater St. Louis invite you to test drive the St. Louis Sports Special, a full-size LeSabre V6 priced less than $49.94.
ML Carr at the line, where earlier in the season he had all kinds of difficulties. He is now shooting 65% for the year from the stripe, but that's misleading. He is hitting about 80% since breaking that slump, and needless to say, as soon as I point that out, he misses the first one.
You'll never learn.
The second one is up. He made that. 1 out of 2 with 47 seconds to go in the period. 22-19 Spirits. Here is Newman giving in the corner to Jan Van Bredekop. Back to Newman. A three-pointer that could have tied it. Goes in and out and is knocked out of bounds by St. Louis.
Spirits are really complaining about that, and obviously the camera angle is different from what we're seeing here, but it looked like a very good call. It looked like it was right on CJ.
Moses Malone comes into the Spirit lineup. He replaces Marvin Barnes as the inbound goes to Jim McDaniels, and McDaniels hits the jumper. Jan Van Bredekop has reported into the lineup, replacing Will Jones after Jones committed the foul on Carr, and Van Bredekop is at a forward spot. Freddie Lewis brings it back, gives in the lane to Malone, and Moses lays it in. Moses Malone operating where he is most effective, inside. 24-21 with 12 seconds to play in the quarter. Spirits by 3. McDaniels, a foul line turnaround. That's good. Jim McDaniels listed at 7 feet. Probably a little less than that. 3 seconds to play in the half. Freddie from half court. Almost. Freddie Lewis hitting the bottom of the net. His shot was right on from about 50 feet. And that is the third time in as many games that Freddie has just missed from half court at the end of a period. I started to say about McDaniels before the quarter came to a close that for a man his size, listed at 7 feet, maybe a little less, but nonetheless a big fella, he has an outstanding outside shooting touch. At the end of one period of play, the Spirits 24, the Colonels 23, and this is Spirits of St. Louis basketball. Second period underway as we come back on our simulcast from Louisville. Tip control by the Spirits. Freddie Lewis driving the lane, shooting up the floater and hitting it. So the Spirits score immediately off the second period tip, and they lead by 3 at 26-23 with 11:45 to play in the first half. Slowly across comes Kevin Joyce. Right side of the circle, VBK with a one bounce down low to McDaniels, playing in relief of Gilmore. Up high Newman, left side Van Bredekopp, baseline drive, blocked away by Malone, and taken by Jones underneath, and we get a whistle. This could be a backcourt foul as CJ was fouled underneath the basket. It will be a backcourt violation against Jim McDaniels. He draws personal number 1, and obviously the first Kentucky team foul in the second quarter. And Jones goes to the free throw line where he is most effective for a 6'11 performer. He is shooting 81% on the year with his free throws. He will be looking to break into double figures if he can make them both. He had 4 baskets in the first quarter, and the first one is good. Gives him 9 points, and the Spirits a 4-point lead at 27-23. 30 seconds gone by in quarter number 2. Only one other game in the ABA tonight, and that pits the New York Nets against the Virginia Squires in Virginia. Caldwell Jones hits them both. 10 points for him on a 28-23 Spirit lead. And look who's going to come in shortly. Randy Dent. Here is a steal, top of the key by Malone. He throws it out to Ron Boone. The Booner stops and pops and hits from 20 feet. 30-23, and the Spirits have the game's biggest lead, 7 points. The Booner has scored 6. Both Barnes and Denton will check in shortly. Ron Thomas has come into the Colonel lineup. He throws left corner for Joyce, in a crowd low for Van Bredekopp. The ball knocked away. Boone comes out with it. Then he loses at midcourt to McDaniels. Ahead to Van Bredekopp, confronted by CJ. He lays it up around him, no good, and it's taken down by Boone. He leads ML Carr in the front court. Only man back is Joyce. Gives it to Malone. Take it up in the crowd, and he missed it. And we get a walking call on Moses Malone. Ron Thomas was there to try and bother him, and what Thomas did was he got a hand on the ball and pinned it against Malone's leg and caused Malone to shuffle his feet while still holding the ball. Now let's check all the changes. Joyce and Newman in the backcourt for Kentucky. Thomas and Van Bredekopp their forwards. McDaniels their centers. So a lineup comprised entirely of substitutes. Top of the key Thomas. Left side Newman. Long jump is in and out. Rebound taken by Randy Denton, who has just come in for the Spirits at center, replacing Caldwell Jones. The forwards are Barnes and Malone. The guards are Lewis and Boone. Here is Freddie from 22, no good. Got his own rebound. Foul line. Turnaround. Blocked away by McDaniels. Taken by Boone and a foul. As Kevin Joyce hurls the ball back down the other way over his head. A loose ball foul is called on Johnny Newman of Kentucky. In comes Mike D'Antoni, and in comes Mike Barr.
If there has been a problem the last 3 games we lost, it's that we just ran out of steam in the last few minutes of the fourth quarter. Mainly our guards, who had played so well, just got tired. And I think Coach Mulaney says tonight he's not going to let that happen. Everything's going to be fresh going down the stretch.
Spirit ball on the side. Marvin Barnes double pumps and hits, cutting down the lane as he banks it off the glass. Marvin shooting from the hip. 32-23. Marvin has scored 7. Spirits have a 9-point lead, the biggest of the game. And the Spirits putting a little bit of backcourt 5-second violation. Unable to get the ball in, so he wisely calls a timeout rather than relinquish possession of the ball. So the timeout comes with 10:04 to play in the second period. And the Spirits in front by 9, 32-23. This is Spirits of St. Louis basketball. Back in St. Louis, where prior to that last, in St. Louis, in Kentucky, yes, where prior to that last timeout, the teams had lineups out on the floor, including only one starter for either club, and that was Marvin Barnes. Now Kentucky will completely change their lineup as they bring Averett and Dampier back in, Lucas and Jones back in, and Gilmore back in at center. So 5 new players, the starters back in and all the reserves out, whereas the Spirits have Barnes as the only starter out there. D'Antoni and Barr are their guards. Randy Denton and Moses Malone also up front. Kentucky ball, Averett a jumper from 20. It's good. 32-25, 6 points for the Bird. 9:45 to play in the first half. The Spirits lead by 7. Top of the key, Barr. Side of the circle, Marvin. Left corner, D'Antoni. Back to Barnes. Up high, Barr. Down low, Malone. Backs Lucas to the hole. He knocked it out of his hand. It is scooped up off the floor by who? It's still loose. Finally taken by Malone. On the baseline, holds up. Fakes the jumper. Will Jones knocked it away, and Dampier picks it up. He throws ahead to Averett. Averett to Dampier. Foul line, pop. Good. Moses Malone holding the ball too long at the other end and allowing Will Jones the opportunity to knock it away and ignite the fast break. Side of the circle again, it is Moses. Top of the key, Marvin from 20. Yes. The Spirits lead by a score of 34-27, a 7-point advantage, and 9 points for Marvin Barnes. Louis Dampier brings it out against Mike Barr. Bounce pass down low for Gilmore, knocked away, loose on the floor, and stolen by Marvin Barnes. Barnes and Denton had him surrounded and combined to knock it away. Front court, D'Antoni, right corner, Denton, the jumper. He is in and out. Rebound tipped high by Barnes, but right into the hands of Gilmore. Out it goes to Averett. Averett hustles to the front court. Down low for Will Jones. Got by him and out of bounds as he cut on the baseline toward the basket. On the Kentucky turnover, it is Spirit ball out of bounds. They lead by 7, 34-27. D'Antoni and Barr, the Spirit backcourt. D'Antoni brings it across. Louis Dampier is playing him. He looks low for Malone, who is fouled by Lucas, knocking it away. Needless to say, Luke's reputation, and a richly deserved one, is as a very physical player.
I don't think he's pleased with that feeling about him. However, you can't deny it.
I don't know if he's pleased with it or not, but he certainly does his best to promote it with the way he plays. He certainly does his best to try to do anything to change it. Malone missing, Barnes rebounding, he misses a short jumper, and Lucas collects the carom. He leads Averett in the front court. The Bird on the dribble against Barr. Down low, wide open, Will Jones. Reverse layup doesn't drop, but he was fouled by Randy Denton. This morning's paper containing a story in St. Louis about how Randy Denton was unhappy with not much, picking up splinters on the bench, and mentioned how he might not mind a trade if he did not get some playing time. Mike Barr did not make similar comments, at least comments that were published, but he too has not played very much of late, and now in the first half, both of them are in the ball game, as Joe Mulaney seeks to avoid what has plagued the Spirits over the past 3 consecutive games which they have lost, and that is his principal players running out of steam late in the game. And Will Jones at the line makes the move. 4 points for Jones, 8:05 to play in the first half, 34-29, Spirits by 5. Out of the right corner, D'Antoni draws a double team, looks for help, and decides to help himself by bouncing it off the body of Lucas and out of bounds. The old playground trick is nonetheless effective. Spirits will inbound, and D'Antoni is the trigger man. Into Mike Barr along the baseline against Bird Averett. He throws in the lane for Barnes, and as it goes off his hands, we get a whistle, and a foul will be called on Will Jones of Kentucky. That is team foul number 3 on Kentucky. The Spirits have committed only 1 team foul in the period. St. Louis ball out of bounds. Mike Barr at the foul line, dishes to Denton. His one-hander, bang.
Randy's very good at that, just facing the basket 15 feet out, that quick jumper.
Soft touch, 36-29, St. Louis by 7. They have led most of the way in the second quarter. Head of the foul circle, Louis Dampier, 3-point territory on the dribble to the corner. Denton comes over, Averett is open, top of the key, drives on D'Antoni, shoots it up on the run, spins out, but a foul.
That's the kind of thing that really hurts, because he threw up a prayer. There was no way that shot was going to go in, but it was a good call. He was fouled.
Averett was open and could have taken the jumper from 18, 19 feet, but instead he chooses to lunge into D'Antoni and take the shot, thereby creating the situation where he might potentially draw the foul if he missed the shot, and it could be a 3-point play if he made it. He did miss. He did draw the foul. He just missed the first free throw, and he also missed the second. He is a terrible free throw shooter for a guard who has 3-point range. It's kind of difficult to understand, but he is very ineffective from the line.
Then you'd be better off taking the easy jumper.
Here is Barr driving through
nice
the lane,
play.
and Mike Barr puts in a tough layup. 38-29, Barr's first field goal. Spirits again by 9. Talking about Averett, he kept the Spirits in the game down the stretch in both regulation and overtime by missing crucial free throws on Sunday. Lucas on a baseline drive, misses off the glass, but he was fouled on the play. And this personal goes on Moses Malone. He draws number 1, the team's third, and Lucas for a brace of free throws at the line. And he can cut it down to 7 if he makes them both as we pause for a moment.
Breakfast at McDonald's is a great way to start off your morning. Hot cakes and sausage, scrambled eggs and sausage, egg McMuffin, 4 kinds of juice, and coffee. McDonald's in the morning. It's as natural as the sunrise.
Lucas made the first. The second is short. The rebound is loose. It comes out to Malone, who double dribbled, coming out of the backcourt. On Mount Sinai, the biblical Moses raised the stone tablets, and sometimes I think his latter-day counterpart repeats the performance every time he raises his hands. Top of the key, it is Louis Dampier, who is hand-checked by Mike Barr. He flips it off to Lucas. Lucas is guarded by Malone. He bounces to Gilmore. It is stolen by Denton. Good defensive play. He hands off to Barr. Barr to D'Antoni, right back to Mike, and he will bring it out of the backcourt. He indicates the set play as he is guarded by Averett. Top of the key, it goes to Denton. Denton against Gilmore, hands to D'Antoni. D'Antoni swings to Barr, down low Marvin, almost lost it. Time running out on the shot clock as he puts it up, and no good. Nice move, but it wouldn't drop. The rebound taken by Gilmore, and a foul that could be a backcourt foul, and it is against Marvin Barnes, as just off to our left, Joe Mullaney yells, "No, Marvin, no," and then sits down and says, "Why, why?"
I think he's really saying, why me?
Could be. One of Joe's favorite expressions when a player makes a play which is less than bright is, "What is he trying to do to me?" I'll often see him stand up, put his hands to his head, and say, "What is that kid trying to do to me?" Gilmore missed the first, made the second. Kentucky is the worst free throw shooting team in the ABA. 38-31, a 7-point lead for the Spirits. Mike Barr, guarded by Averett. Out of the corner, it is Marvin Barnes. Given room by Will Jones. Starts a dribble between the legs. Still in the corner. He holds up. Gives to Malone. 20 feet out. Puts it on the floor. Stops foul line. Gives to Denton. He backs up. Bobbles the dribble. Kicks it away. And Barnes lunges to the floor, but it gets by him and goes out of bounds as the Spirits had extremely poor ball movement that time down the floor. 6:06 to play in the first half. 38-31. A 7-point. Averett will throw it in to Louis Dampier in the backcourt after taking the handle from official Jack Madden. Coming across Dampier, bounces to Will Jones. ML Carr is going to come in soon for the Spirits. In low it goes to Gilmore. Gilmore is fouled as he is surrounded by Denton and D'Antoni. And it is D'Antoni who picks up the personal. Exit Malone and enter ML Carr.
We've gotten one thing from our bench tonight, which is what you really want. You don't ever expect them to build up a lead, to maintain a lead at best, to not lose too much of it at worst. We have a 7-point lead now. We'll see what Artis does. We had a 9-point lead when the bench came in, and they did very well.
Gilmore at the line, makes 1 out of 2. And Randy Denton throws it into Mike Barr as Ron Boone has come in to replace Mike D'Antoni. 38-32. Spirit lead is 6. Out of the foul circle, Denton, guarded by Gilmore, puts it on the floor, then hands to Boone. The Booner starts a dribble down the lane, back to Denton. He puts it up, blocked away by Gilmore. What a foul on the play as Denton looked for the stuff. The fans complained that when Boone took the ball from Denton prior to dishing off the pass back to Randy, that he shuffled his feet and should have been called for traveling, and I kind of agree.
I do too.
Denton at the line for a pair. On the season, Randy is shooting 81% from the line, and he makes the first. 39-32, a 7-point lead for the Spirits. And now 8 as Denton makes them both. 5:42 to play in the first half. Bird Averett comes loping out of the backcourt and is met by the defensive Mike Barr. Side of the circle, it goes to Will Jones, way outside. Up high, Lucas fakes the jumper. Now he lets it go, and he's short with it from 20 feet. It bounces long to Boone. Ahead it goes to Marvin, and he dunks it. Marvin Barnes hanging back, cherry picking, and the Spirits get an easy basket with Boone throwing it up ahead to it. 11 points for Marvin Barnes. 42-32, St. Louis by 10. 5:14 to play in the first half. Lucas, top of the key, dishes off to Will Jones. He throws low for Gilmore, wheeling and dunking it. It will not count. They're going to call him for steps. The funny thing about that is, and we don't mean to harp on this, but I see very little difference between that move on which he is called for steps and the move which he makes constantly where there is no call and he gets the bucket.
He always shuffles his pivot, but the problem is that if a guard, 6-foot guard does it, you haven't given up too much ground. But when Artis Gilmore does it, you've given up 3.5 feet. And under the basket, that's a lot.
Here is ML Carr as the Spirits come back with the ball, handing to Barr. His 18-footer is good, it counts, and he is fouled on the play. The basket and one for Mike Barr, who now has hit 2 field goals for 4 points and will have the free throw coming. The foul called on Jan Van Bredikov, who just checked into the Kentucky lineup. They go with Dampier and Averett at the guards, Ron Thomas and Jan Van Bredikov in place of Lucas and Will Jones at the forwards, and the center remains Artis Gilmore, and Barr makes the free throw, a 3-point play that gives the Spirits their biggest lead, 13 points, 45-32. Here is Van Bredikov missing right baseline. Rebound is taken by Barnes, but he is on the baseline. Marvin is upset with the call, but Joe Mullaney, who had a good view of it from the Spirit bench, assures him that he did have the edge of his shoe on the line, and Kentucky gets the ball back. Thomas bounces into Gilmore, guarded by Denton. Randy giving away at least 4 inches, off to Averett. The Bird fires up the corner jump that's an air ball, hits Zippo, comes down on the hands of Denton. He throws to Boone, underneath Marvin, lays it up, and it in.
That's what speed, running, a little hustle will do for you. You know, it is so good to see Mike Barr shooting. There's so much written about players who are so selfish and they always want the ball. And this is a player who will almost never shoot, and he's a good shooter. He's so unselfish. And I'm really pleased watching him.
Marvin Barnes twice now getting back quickly, which is his game when he is playing the way he should, because he has that great speed. And he got back ahead and picked up another easy basket. Now the Spirits have stretched their lead to 15 at 47-32 with 4:26 to play in the first half, and this is Spirits basketball. Spirits in Virginia tomorrow night. We'll have radio of that game out of Norfolk against the Squires. Then Thursday, a travel day back to St. Louis. And Friday, against the Indiana Pacers at the arena. Game time is 8 o'clock. That is ladies' night. All women admitted to the $3 and $5 sections for half price, and at halftime, every lady in attendance is entitled to shoot 1 free throw in the Spirits halftime free throw contest, and if you make the foul shot, you win $50 in prizes. So a good opportunity to see a good game at a good price and possibly walk out a big winner, picking up $50 worth of gifts at halftime. It should be fun with the ladies shootout on ladies' night this Friday against the Indiana Pacers, and that is a game that the Spirits pretty much have got to win if they hope to harbor playoff hopes for the remainder of the season.
I don't think there's a game that you can't say that about for the rest of the season. We've got to win them all or very close to it.
You figure at this point, with the Spirits having 22 games remaining and Indiana 23, if Indiana was to play, let's say, 500 ball or a game above, let's say they go 12 and 11, the Spirits have got to go something like 16 and 6 to have a chance to overtake them. Kentucky ball after the timeout, and Gilmore hits that hook from about 2 feet. 47-34, Spirits by 13. Denton at the foul line against Gilmore, down the lane, running hook. He missed it, tried to tip his own shot, and on the follow try, he is going to be called for a rebounding foul.
The Artis is called for the foul.
It is on Artis Gilmore, you're right.
Can't believe it.
Kentucky crowd does not like that. Hubie Brown does not like that at all. Hubie Brown is really a volatile coach. He reacts yelling at the officials all game long and yelling at his own players. And many of his players are not especially fond of Hubie Brown for that reason, because even guys who have given him phenomenal performances on balance throughout the course of the season, guys like Gilmore and Lucas, are not immune when they play badly in individual spots. He will erupt at them just like he will erupt at a second-rate substitute.
Someday somebody ought to do an in-depth study on the pressure of being a coach. I don't think there's anything like it outside of maybe heavy politics.
Because Hubie is an extremely likable individual off the court.
And very controlled.
And a very effective coach, that must be said. He took them to the championship in his first year last year. Denton makes them both, and Averett fires from the top of the key, no good, and Denton has the rebound. Spirits by 15 and with the ball, 49-34. Here is Ron Boone against the Bird with the foul line one-hander. Yes!
What a good night Randy's having. He must feel he has something to prove here tonight. He's really proving it. He's playing extremely well.
51-34, the Spirits by 17. Top of the key, Van Bredekopf. Carr went for the steal, didn't get it. Down low, Averett. He misses. Rebound, Thomas. Lays it up and in. 51-36. St. Louis lead is 15. 3:15 to play in the first half. Mike Barr stutter steps his way out of the backcourt against Louis Dampier. Bounces to ML to the foul line. He spins. He hands to Boone. Puts it on the floor against Averett. Fakes the jumper. Has nowhere to go. Hands to Barnes. 8 on the 24. Marvin to Randy Denton. Top of the key. His jumper is off the back of the rim. Got his own rebound. Second try. Also no good. Rebound back tap by Gilmore and picked up by Dampier. Dampier across the line on the right. To the top of the key. Left side Thomas. 15-footer is no good. Rebound bounces to ML Carr. He pushes the ball to the front court. Behind the back to a driving Barnes. He missed the one-hander. Bounces out to Boone. He spins. Looks for daylight. Finds it. Lets it go. Off the back of the rim. Followed up. No good by Barnes and a whistle. ML Carr threw a behind-the-back pass on that break to Marvin Barnes. Marvin driving, bobbled it slightly, and that caused him to miss the shot. Then the Spirits got 2 more opportunities as the ball kept bouncing out to them, and the foul is called against Kentucky as Barnes went up for the stuff off the missed jumper by Boone.
Those behind-the-back passes are such fun to see, and they frighten me so much.
They can, on occasion, be effective, and ML Carr
That's right.
is
Oh,
accurate with them. The foul was Kentucky's 5th. Both teams are over the personal foul limit, and Barnes is at the line. First one on the way. He got it. 52-36, the Spirits by 16. They led by that many in the third period Sunday in St. Louis and lost in overtime. Exit Randy Denton with a job well done, and back in Caldwell Jones for the final 2.5 minutes of the first half.
One advantage we're going to have this game, though, is that we will be rested at the end of the game.
Marvin's next one. Got them both. Again, a 17-point lead, 53-36. Louis Dampier out of the backcourt, switching hands on the dribble. Mike Barr hand checking. Left corner, Johnny Newman, who has just come in to replace the Bird. Newman on the dribble, top of the key. Up high to Gilmore. He spins and one hands from 10, no good. Trying to follow his own shot. He wrestles Carr to the floor like a rag doll, and we get a jump ball call. Man, he is strong. ML Carr is a solid 6'6" and goes about 205, and Gilmore tossed him down like he was a featherweight. And now they jump it up. Gilmore at 7'2" with an 8-inch height advantage, and the tip is controlled by the Spirits as Gilmore slapped it over to Boone inadvertently. Here is the Booner at the line, gives to Marvin, short jump, good. Banked it in. 55-36, a 19-point edge, Eileen.
One thing you have to try to do, I think, when you're trying to jump with a much bigger man is hit the ball on the way up. Start your jump a little earlier. It's not really legal, but it's effective.
Van Bredekopf driving inside off a bounce pass from Dampier is hammered, and he will be going to the free throw line. Foul was on Marvin, and that should be his 3rd. It is. At the line is Van Bredekopf. Let's pause for a moment.
The great Buick dealers of Greater St. Louis invite you to test drive the St. Louis Sports Special, a full-sized LeSabre V6 priced less than $49.94.
Malone comes in, and Barnes goes out with 3 fouls. And Van Bredekopf's next free throw is on the way, and he made them both. 55-38, a 17-point St. Louis lead with 1:50 to play in the first half. Freedom Hall in Louisville. Ron Boone accelerates against Newman for a pass down low for Carr. It's knocked out of his hands, and we get a foul on the play as he went up for the shot, and ML is going to be at the line for 2. Boone started to throw up the jumper from the top of the key and then spotted Carr open down low, and ML was fouled by Van Bredekopf. Carr with 3 to make 2 now. Both teams in the penalty, and ML makes the first.
This is what happens when you give the ball and then you run away from the ball and you keep moving. ML was wide open. Ron saw him. If you give the ball to someone and just stand around, this isn't going to happen.
Movement without the ball is absolutely the name of the game.
It made a career for Bill Bradley.
57-38, a 19-point lead for the Spirits. Newman straddling the 3-point line. Down low for Van Bredekopf. Carr knocked it away. ML on the foul. And he nods his head in acknowledgement of a good call by Joe Belmont. 2 on ML. And once again, Van Bredekopf finds himself at the free throw line, where on the season he is shooting 83%. 1 plus the penalty, made the first, and the bonus is upcoming with 1:32 to play in the half. He can cut the Spirit lead to 17, which he does. 57-40. Malone into Mike Barr, who is seeing more playing time tonight than he has seen just about in the past month. Here is Barr, top of the key against Dampier. Gives to Boone. 22-footer is off the mark short. Rebound taken by C.J. Knocked out of his hands as he goes up for the follow shot. And a foul on the play. That will be called against Johnny Newman. And now it will be Caldwell Jones at the free throw line, as both teams give up points, committing a lot of fouls late in the period over the limit. CJ with 3 to make 2. First one is good. Ladies' night Friday at 8 o'clock. $3 and $5 seats. All women in attendance, half price, and the halftime shootout for the ladies from the free throw line. You make the foul shot, you win $50 worth of prizes. And CJ will not need the bonus as the second one bounces around and falls in. 59-40, they reestablish a 19-point advantage with 1:10. Out of the backcourt, Dampier flips off to Thomas. Thomas back to Dampier. Louis out of the left corner, watched by Barr, puts it on the floor, fires up the one-hander. It is off the mark. The rebound is taken by Thomas. Back up high to Newman. Three-pointer on the way and good. Johnny Newman hits a 3, 59-40. With 52 seconds to play in the first half, and they sound a siren here at Freedom Hall. You've got all kinds of sound effects.
Joe Mulaney is complaining because they said Johnny Newman traveled, which in fact he did, but Ron Boone had done it earlier too.
Here is the Booner. He straddles the three-point line, to the line, fires it up. It is no good. The rebound is taken by Gilmore, falling backwards. He gets it out near midcourt to Dampier. Dampier veering right, almost has it knocked away. Throws for Thomas, baseline. The pass back out high, intended for Dampier, intercepted by Barr. Mike brings the dribble down. 24 seconds. Gives to Boone. Down low Moses. Lays it up. And in it counts, and he is fouled on the play. Good pass from Ron Boone as he spotted Malone, his former Utah teammate, down low. Moses knew what to do with it when he got it inside. And as far as I'm concerned, if you could just limit Moses getting the ball to that situation, he is phenomenal. It's when you get him with the ball outside and he starts to play around with it that you get headaches.
To his credit, I don't think he wants to be outside with or without the ball. I think he wants to be free to roam under the basket.
When he operates inside, he can be awesome. He is so quick, and he is strong now, much stronger than he was as a rookie when he was comparatively thin. Here is Van Bredekop after Malone hits the free throw. Down low to Gilmore, he puts it up, and no good. It is tipped up high, no good by Van Bredekop, and collecting the carom is Malone with 2 seconds, and that will do it. Boone fires from the backcourt and overshoots the basket. It wouldn't have counted anyway, as Joe Belmont was waving his arms to say that they did not beat the clock. 62-43 is the score at halftime as Malone's three-point play offsets the three-point shot by Johnny Newman. And we go to the locker room up by 19 after what you would have to categorize as an outstanding first half. This is Spirits of St. Louis basketball.
In 1976, 4 teams from the American Basketball Association joined the NBA. The Spurs are the first ones to reach the finals, while another former ABA team, the Pacers, made it to the conference finals. So 2 decades after going out of business, the ABA is having a banner year. It's a fitting time to remember a league that lasted just 9 years, but put on a memorable show.
And now, here's George Mikan, commissioner of the ABA.
You know, I've been associated with basketball all my life, and I can't remember an occasion which has given me more personal satisfaction than the basketball game you are going to see in just a few seconds.
People got to remember that the ABA was started on the idea of being entertaining.
It was wackier, more open, it had more dunking, it had the three-point shot, it had that wacky, multicolor, polycolor ball.
Red and white blue ball had a lot of flash to it. You know, once you let it go, you know, you can watch the spin, you can see the ball spinning in the air and hit the nets.
It's all about running and gunning and shooting more times than you. Our whole theory was, if we shoot 100 times, we shoot 130.
There was a flair on the court. I think the coaches recognized the talent of the young players and allowed a style of play that was much different than the typical NBA style.
As the ABA tried to gain a foothold in the sports world, 2 of its top teams were the Indiana Pacers and the San Antonio Spurs, led by a young guard named George Gervin, who would come to be known as the Iceman.
You know, I was 19 years old when I joined the pros, so, you know, I was a young man, and, you know, the game was fast, so, you know, we pushed the ball up the floor every time down, every opportunity we could, and, you know, and to me, that's how you play basketball.
They call him the Iceman, and that's because he is so smooth and so cool and a great offensive ball player.
Well, the scoring title is secondary to me because I didn't already had it 3 times, so, you know, what is there left? All I want now is a championship, and if it's to sacrifice in my scoring ability to get a championship, then I'm willing to do that.
During their early years, the Spurs had a winning team and experienced some playoff success, but they were never able to get a championship ring for the Iceman. The team that dominated the ABA was the Indiana Pacers. During the early 1970s, the Pacers won 3 championships in 4 years. They were guided by their fiery coach, Bob Slick Leonard.
Ceruno, let's go, baby. I banked off the board and off the rim. Yes, sir.
Well, any championship team is special. Those are things you never forget. We won the first one in 1970, came back and won back-to-back in 72-73. So that was a good basketball team by any standard. I don't go this ABA, NBA stuff.
Led by their superstars George McGinnis and Mel Daniels, the Pacers not only won titles, they won the hearts of Indiana fans and were part of the fabric of the community.
Indiana's always demonstrated great class. They assembled terrific teams here, played basketball the right way. I think they were way ahead of their time and certainly could have played in the NBA.
Once you walk down those tunnels together, playing for a title, those are friendships that are lifelong lasting.
And now, 2 decades after the ABA played its final game, a new chapter is being written. 2 of its former teams have carried the banner for a league that's gone, but certainly not forgotten.
And for the first time ever, the Spurs are going to the NBA Finals.
You know, it's a long time coming, but those 2 franchises, I think, make me proud because of my association with that league. Again, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you about this. That league gave me an opportunity to do what I love to do. And there are a lot of guys that can sit here and say the very same thing and would say it with the same kind of feelings I have.
Here comes Durbin, the Iceman, driving.
To be, you know, represented, you know, by our club, you know, in the NBA Finals, it would be something special.
It would be special. There's no question about that. And I'm sure all those old ABA players around the country are pulling for an ABA team, an ABA city, to get into the World Championship Series.
While the red, white, and blue ball is long gone, the ABA's legacy lives on in other ways, most importantly with the three-point shot, adopted by the NBA in 1979.
Hey, folks, let him rock.
Knowing that its rival league was financially strapped and limping along, the older, aging league showed no mercy, salivating over the ABA's cachet of young talent that included some of the best players in basketball. The NBA smelled blood.
Their theory was this influx of new talent, this infusion of new talent would be a great thing for their league, but they wanted to do it on their terms and under their control.
The terms were harsh, more like a massacre than a merger. Only 4 ABA teams survived. The New York Nets, the Denver Nuggets, the Indiana Pacers, and San Antonio Spurs would all pay a heavy financial price for the privilege of joining the NBA.
Lucas and Will Jones flank him at the forwards. Dampier and Averett at the guards, and the tip is controlled by Kentucky. Colonels are down by 19 as play begins in the second half. Averett, a stutter step on Freddie Lewis, puts on the brakes, gives to Will Jones. Down low, Gilmore. They'll look for him. He lays it in. 62-45. Gilmore is in double figures, the first Colonel to reach it with 11 points. The Spirit lead is 17. Lewis right baseline against Dampier. The jump is good, and he gets it right back. 64-45, 4 points for Freddie. Averett comes back the other way. Boone draws the defensive assignment. Averett shovels it out to Dampier. Dampier is watched by Freddie. Back to the Bird. Inside for Gilmore. Deflected by Carr. The ball is loose, but Lucas picks it up. Fires it low for Will Jones. Intercepted by Marvin Barnes. He gets it out to Freddie Lewis. Carr was breaking back ahead of the field, but they couldn't get the handle in time to get him the ball. Here is Marvin driving and laying it in off a pass from Ron Boone. A bounce pass as Marvin cut through the lane. He has scored 19, and Boone picks up his 5th assist. A beauty. Dampier in three-point country. Right corner, Will Jones. Low again for Gilmore. Triple team out to Dampier. Long one-hander is good. 66-47. 6 for Louis. And again a 19-point St. Louis lead. Lewis across the line on the left against Louis Dampier. Bringing the dribble left to right. Bullets right corner for M.L. Carr. He drives. Deflected away by Will Jones, and a foul on Wilbert Jones. Carr was trying to take it laterally across the lane. Will Jones picks up personal number 3, team foul number 1 in the third quarter. Carr inbounds to Boone, back to ML. Puts it on the floor, takes it to the side, then holds up, bounces for CJ, who didn't expect it, and it is stolen away by Gilmore. Gilmore gives to Averett. Averett brings the dribble right up the middle, flips it off to Dampier. Louis in the lane for Lucas. He puts it up and hits. Lucas off the glass from Dampier. We've played a little bit less than 2 minutes in the third period, and the Spirits lead 66-49. Lucas has scored 9. The Spirits up by 17. Lewis side of the circle to Boone, who leads the league in three-point shooting. Doesn't put up the 25-footer this time. Side of the lane, CJ works against Gilmore with the running hook that is short. The rebound bounces out to the Bird. He comes quickly around Marvin Barnes to the front court, down the lane, dishes off for Gilmore. In a crowd, he goes up and misses. The rebound bounces out to Marvin. He looks for help and throws out to Boone. Booner across the line on the right, accelerates around Averett for the short one-hander. That is good. Went right by the Bird, then put on the brakes and popped in about a 6-footer. 68-49. Spirits again by 19, which was their halftime edge. Out of the right corner, Will Jones. Giving him room, M.L. Carr. Back to Dampier, watched by Lewis. He swings up high to Averett. Bounces to Lucas in the lane against Marvin. Puts it on the floor, then holds up, has it knocked away in a foul. Boone and Barnes were both there. Boone in front of him, Barnes behind him. Lucas was looking to put Marvin in the popcorn machine, as Chick Hearn likes to say out in Los Angeles, where you go with the head fake and try to get the guy going up and down. Marvin was not going for any of the fakes, but Boone eventually committed the foul. It will be Colonel Ball out of bounds from underneath the basket. And now they're going to say put it in play from the side. And Averett is the trigger man. And it goes to Will Jones, back to the Bird. He bounces off to Dampier, hand checked by Freddie Lewis. 9:20 to play in the quarter. Down low, Lucas. He banks it up inside. It's no good. The rebound is taken by M.L. Carr. He flips it out to Ron Boone against Averett to the baseline. He spins. He feeds out to Freddie. Foul line one-hander is in and out. The rebound is kept alive inside momentarily by Carr, but coming out with it is Gilmore. He bounces out to Averett. Averett hustles to the front court at the foul line, whirls around and throws it away. Dampier, though, tries to save it in, but can't, as he stepped out of bounds, trying to get off his saving pass. Averett whirling around and finding his path blocked through the desperation pass, just trying to get rid of it to Dampier, but Louis could not keep it in. Spirit ball inside, 9 minutes to play in the third. Back to the basket, high post CJ, hand check by Gilmore, whirls around him, takes it to the hoop and lays it in. Good move by CJ.
CJ's very quick for a man that size. He can drive to the basket. He should be able to go around Artis more.
He has scored 14 points. The Spirits lead by 20-49. Averett midway between the sidelines. Will Jones top of the key. Low post Gilmore, back to Jones. Baseline one-hander is short with the line drive shot. Collecting the carom, Caldwell Jones. He gives to Freddie Lewis. Lewis right up the middle. He's got daylight. Takes it down for the floater. It is good. It counts, and he is fouled on the play. 6 for Freddie. He'll go to the line. This could be a three-point play, as he has the basket and one, the personal on Louis Dampier. Before Freddie shoots the free throw, Hubie Brown says, boys, let's talk it over. 8:22 to play in the third period with the score. The Spirits 72 and the Colonels 49, and this is Spirits basketball. 8 minutes and 22 seconds showing on the third quarter clock at Freedom Hall in Louisville. Bob Costas along with Arlene Weltman and the Spirits of St. Louis leading the Kentucky Colonels by 23 points at 72-49, and Freddie Lewis is going to have a chance to add a digit to that side of the scoreboard as he looks to complete the back end of a three-point play. If you're watching on the TV side, the official with his back to you there, number 22, is Joe Belmont, who used to be the coach of the Denver Rockets when they were known as the Rockets before changing their name prior to last season to the Nuggets. And there are those who contend that Mr. Belmont, who is a Denver resident, should never officiate a game involving the Nuggets, but he does often find himself calling the plays when the Nuggets are on the floor. The free throw is good by Freddie Lewis. At the other end, our TV viewers had a good view of the play as Will Jones dropped the ball underneath the basket as the Colonels came back, but M.L. Carr, who had fallen down, was out of bounds and the ball rolled onto M.L.'s body. So the Colonels inbound from the side. Gilmore, baseline to Will Jones. A turnaround is good. Nice move by Will Jones.
Will has used his height advantage over ML quite well tonight.
73-51. Jones has scored half a dozen, and we get a whistle, and we're going to get a palming violation against Freddie Lewis as he took the ball around Louis Dampier outside.
Freddie can't believe it. He's saying, what'd he call? What'd he call?
Dampier bounces it into Averett. Exactly 8 minutes to play in the quarter. The Spirits by 21. They sound the charge horn here at Freedom Hall to try and get the fans going, and in turn the Colonels going. Carr goes for a steal on Jones, doesn't get it. Boone takes Jones on a switch. That leaves Carr on Averett. The Bird gives to Lucas. He drives the lane, throw it up lefty, and good.
Very tough play by Lucas.
73-53. The Spirits by 22 before, not by 21. My math a little bit lacking. Now by an even 20 with 7:30 to play in the quarter. Here is Carr in the lane. Marvin, the one-hander. Bang! Marvin fell down as he was pushed by Will Jones, but no foul. Dampier comes out. 75-53, gives to Averett. Colonel's down by 22. He hands to Will Jones. Long jump, way off the mark. Rebound bounces to Dampier at 6 feet. He brings the dribble back outside. Bounces off to Averett. Lets go of a three-pointer, and he misses it. The rebound swatted around in the lane, and we are going to get a rebounding foul against Marvin Barnes, and that will be personal number 4 on Movin' Marvin, who has scored 21 points.
Unless you're an Artis Gilmore with that kind of height advantage, that's an automatic call when you get a rebound going up over someone, and yet mark him at all, because I had a very clear view of that, but it's an automatic foul.
Kentucky ball on the side. Lucas, a one-hander from 18, won't go. Will Jones rebounds. A hook is up and good. Will Jones with a little hook shot off the glass.
I don't understand why they're not going to Artis. He hasn't seen the ball except maybe twice this quarter. Usually he's the man that brings them in unless they feel he's not playing well tonight, not feeling well.
Barnes from 20 over Lucas, and he hits it. Marvin was just holding the ball side of the circle, and Lucas watching him anticipating a move, and Marvin all of a sudden, after holding it there for a few seconds, just let it go without making any move at all, and it fell through. He scored 23. Averett, a stutter step around Boone, a baseline drive. It is short, but it is tipped in by Lucas. So Lucas immediately gets back the bucket he gave up to Marvin Barnes, and it is a 20-point St. Louis lead at 77-57 with 6:15. Boone to the line, down the lane, dishes out to Freddie, but we get a whistle. An offensive foul is called on the Booner. I would anticipate there is no announcement. That is my assumption.
Has to be.
It will be Colonel ball from the side, and Jack Madden is walking over to the scorer's table, try and set them straight on the call here. Let's pause for a moment.
Now it's time for a Cold Stag. Sit back with a Cold Stag and enjoy the game. Stag Beer, you've got a good thing going Stag. Stag Beer.
And they make the announcement that it is a player control foul, number 3 on Ron Boone, and we get a quick whistle as Kentucky puts it back in play, and Marvin Barnes is going to be called for his 5th as he bumped Lucas, who was jumping up to receive a pass in the front court. Joe Mullaney does not like that one bit, and he immediately indicates that Moses Malone should go into the game, which Moses does, to replace Marvin Barnes, who leaves with 5 fouls. He also scored 23 points. And Marvin tells Mullaney he never touched him as he comes to the bench. Kentucky inbounds, Gilmore low post. He fakes, he goes up and has the easy one on CJ. 13 for the Big A. 77-59. That moves Kentucky to within 18 with 5:55 to play in the third. The Spirits have never won a game in 11 tries at Freedom Hall. High post CJ. Hand check by Gilmore. Foul line one-hander is good. One dribble, leaned into him. Gilmore gave ground, and that left C.J. with some room as he put on the brakes for the jumper.
C.J. should be able to score as long as the rest of the team clears out.
Gilmore taking a nice pass inside from Will Jones and dunking it as Joe Mullaney protests that he pushed C.J. from position and should have been called for a foul. 79 to 61, an 18-point Spirit lead, and now Gilmore has a steal. He gives to Dampier. Dampier against Freddie. Stop side of the circle. Way up high, Averett as they look to set it up. Back to Dampier. Right corner, Will Jones. Low post for Gilmore. Into the corner, Dampier, but Freddie is right with him. Starts a dribble to the foul line. Up high, Averett. 24-foot jumper. He's off the back of the rim, and the rebound line drives out to Freddie at the foul line. He pushes the dribble to the front court. Down the lane, to the line, to the lane, to the hoop. Put it up, put it in. I promised a friend of mine that I would do that during the course of the broadcast. Here is Lucas with a hook through the lane. Joe Tate, the broadcaster of the Cleveland Cavaliers, always says that. To the line, to the lane, to the hoop, put it up, put it in. And I wanted to see if I could do it. And it's very difficult.
In Cleveland, right?
Hey, Cleveland's a heck of a city.
That's my husband's
and Tate's a
hometown.
heck of a broadcaster. There's been a guy who's been encouraging me for 2 years to say on a three-pointer, he twinkled the twine from 29. But I have yet to lower myself to that. As C.J. misses a left-hand hook, and it bounces out to Gilmore. He gives to Averett. Averett baseline with the jump. It is off the back of the rim. Gilmore snatches the rebound down and stuffs it. Now Kentucky moves to within 16. At 81 to 65, with 4:11 to play in the third period, and the Spirits want a timeout. This is Spirits of St. Louis basketball. Spirits of St. Louis being talked to by their head man, Joe Mullaney. And Mullaney is cautioning them against a repeat of Sunday's performance. We're at just about this juncture, maybe a little more time remaining in the third period. The Spirits held what they hold now, a 16-point lead, and dissipated that in short order and ended up losing it in overtime. What a game Marvin Barnes played despite the defeat. 49 points and 17 rebounds, including the game tire at the end of regulation as Freddie Lewis came up short on a three-point try, a desperation heave, and Marvin grabbed the air ball under the basket and put in a reverse layup at the buzzer to force overtime. And that only prolonged the agony, as it turned out, as the Spirits absorbed a heartbreaking defeat. Enter Kevin Joyce and Johnny Newman in the backcourt for Kentucky. Their front line remains the same. For the Spirits, Lewis and Boone are the guards. Malone has replaced Barnes, who scored 23 points but committed 5 fouls. The other forward is M.L. Carr. The center is Caldwell Jones. The ball belongs to the Spirits. They lead 81-65. We come up to 4 minutes to play in the third period. Freddie way up high. In the lane for Moses. Backing on Lucas. They call him for steps.
They took a long time to make the call. I think he had taken 8 before they blew the whistle.
So the Colonels, who are making a mild move, down by 16 now, after trailing by as many as 23, have the ball and a chance to cut it to 14. Lucas throws way up high to Will Jones. He is watched by M.L. Carr. Holds it high in the lane, Lucas. He spins on Malone with the finger roll. It's no good. It's taken by Gilmore, and he doesn't miss that. Artis Gilmore from about 6 inches. 81-67 to within 14 creep the Colonels. Here is the Mooner. Way up high, three-point territory. Freddie Lewis, watched by Joyce, stutter step at the foul line. He fakes him off his feet, pops the jumper, banks it in, good account, and a foul. Freddie made a very good play. He knew he had Joyce off his feet. He knew Joyce was going to foul him. He lunged inside, trying to draw the three-point play. Hit a tough bank shot. Joyce did eventually come down, as he had to, on his back and fouled him. So Freddie has a chance for his second three-point play in the past couple of minutes, and has it, as he hits the free throw. 84-67. Freddie, who had scored only 2 at the half, has now scored 12, enjoying a 10-point third period. Highlighted by 2 3-point plays. Up high, Kevin Joyce. He's got daylight, he's got the jumper, and he misses it. The rebound bounces out to C.J. Hands to Freddie. Cross court, ahead for Boone. He dishes off to Carr, who lays it up. It was blocked from behind by Lucas, and they say, give the 2 points to M.L. Carr, score the goal. A goaltending violation on Lucas as he trailed the play. Spirits getting out quickly once again and stealing the bucket.
ML did the same. It must have been the same feeling I had. I thought he was fouled, but I wasn't really sure it was goaltending. And ML walked straight to the line to take his foul shot.
Exactly 3 minutes to play in the third quarter. The Spirits have opened it up to 19 again from 86 to 67. Here is Lucas, guarded by Malone. Behind him is Boone, and Boone cuts in front of Newman on a good defensive play and intercepts Lucas's pass. Now the Booner has trouble with the dribble and stolen right back by Newman at midcourt. Newman to the foul line, bounces to Jones, back to Newman, lay it up, blocked by CJ, and it comes out to Boone. He hands to Freddie Lewis. Spirits to the front court. Right corner Malone, drives the baseline, taken inside on a foul. Malone will be at the line. Boone and CJ. Malone will not be at the line. An offensive foul on Moses. Player control foul on Moses Malone, and it goes back to Kentucky. As I started to note that Boone and CJ had made back-to-back excellent defensive plays for the Spirits. Boone with the steal and CJ with the block, but to no avail as Moses is called for the charge. Here is Newman driving, dishing to Gilmore, who from about 6 feet goes up and over the bucket for the dunk. 2:15 to play in the quarter. 86 to 69 is the score, and we get a 20-second injury timeout called as Ron Boone appears to be shaken up. The Booner, of course, is an Iron Man. Well over 700 consecutive games played, has not missed a game dating back through high school. Never missed a high school game, a college game, or a pro game of any kind. He holds the ABA record for consecutive games played, and in about a season and a half, he will close in on the all-time pro record held by the former NBA star Johnny Kerr.
I may be wrong, but it looked to me like Ron was trying to go around a pick that Artis had set and tripped over Artis's knee. Whether Artis threw his knee out or Ron made a mistake, I don't know, or at least I won't say.
Spirit trainer Mike Kostic sprays it with a little of that ethyl chloride, the freezing solution, and the Booner is ready to go. He has the ball, top of the key, whirls on Newman, drives the lane, and misses the floater. The rebound is loose and goes out of bounds off either Malone or Boone. It will belong to Kentucky as Newman helps Boone to his feet, and Joe Mulaney agonizes on the Spirit bench. 86-69, the St. Louis leader 17 with 1:50 to play in the third quarter. Joyce guarded by Lewis, gives it to Lucas. Luke holding it in three-point territory to Newman, top of the key. Guarded by Boone, throws it inside to Gilmore. His hook is up and no good, spins out. Rebound, Will Jones, ripped out of his hands by M.L. Carr. Protects the ball in the crowd, waits for the traffic to clear, gives to Freddie. Brings it up court on the left against Kevin Joyce with the jumper. Bang! Freddie Lewis enjoying an excellent third period. He has scored a dozen points in the quarter and 14 for the game. Lucas at the other end against Malone baseline. Dishes it up high to Joyce. He drives the lane. Dumps it off for Gilmore. A turnaround one-hander is no good. And Malone is there for the rebound. With 1:10, he flips it behind his back to Freddie Lewis. 88-69. Freddie brings it up with the Spirits back in front again by 19. Around CJ's screen to the foul line. Bumped by Gilmore, no foul call. In tight for Carr, hands back to Freddie. Off the dribble, a whistle. 3-second violation against the Spirits. 58 seconds to play in the third period. The Spirits began the quarter with a 19-point lead. They now have a 19-point lead. So you'd have to say they'd be content with that. Newman way outside. Up high to Will Jones. Watched by Carr. Swings to Joyce. In tight for Gilmore. Back to Joyce. Off the baseline. Around Freddie. In tight. A reverse layup is good as he put it in with the left hand on a double pump. Nice move by Kevin Joyce. It comes with 37 seconds to play in the quarter. 88-71. A 17-point lead for the Spirits. Freddie Lewis along the left sideline. Kevin Joyce watching him. CJ coming out to set a screen, then walks away. CJ has the ball now on a high post. Gilmore is on him. 6 on the 24, and a whistle inside in the lane. And a Kentucky foul away from the ball. Could have been on Lucas. Wait for the announcement. It is on Lucas. That is 2 on him. The Colonels are not over the limit. It's Spirit ball from the side, and from right in front of us, Freddie Lewis will play it in with 20 seconds to play in the quarter. So the Spirits can hold for the final shot. Up by 17. 88-71. Boone looks up at the clock, shows 12 seconds now. High post to CJ. 8 seconds. 6 seconds as he dribbles against Gilmore. Backs him down low. Fakes. Fadeaway jumper is in and out. but a 3-second violation was called against the Spirits. M.L. Carr apparently was in there too long. Joe Mullaney says, "I can't believe it," on the Spirit bench. TV viewers should have been able to read his lips there. Here is Lucas from the top of the key, hitting at the buzzer. Lucas hitting a running one-hander at the third quarter buzzer, so that may give the Colonels a lift. At the end of 3, 88-73, the Spirits by 15. This is Spirits of St. Louis basketball. Colonels bring in a new forward tandem, Van Bredekoff and Thomas, flanking Gilmore, who remains at center. Their guards are Newman and Joyce as the fourth period begins. Spirits reinsert Randy Denton in place of Moses Malone. The guards are Mike Barr now as Boone gets a rest, and Freddie Lewis. Lewis staying in off the strong third period. The center is Caldwell Jones. And the forwards, Denton and M.L. Carr. The tip controlled by Kentucky. Now they trail by 15, 88-73, as we get a 3-second violation called against Artis Gilmore, called by Jack Madden about 5 seconds after Joe Mullaney began screaming, "He's in the lane, he's in the lane."
He's still in the lane.
And they called the 3-second violation. The ball belongs to the Spirits. Across the line comes Freddie, and checked by Kevin Joyce. He flips to M.L. Carr. M.L. to Mike Barr, left sideline, off the dribble against Newman. He flips cross-court to Denton. Randy on the baseline where he holds. Gives to M.L., watched by Van Bredekoff. Back to Denton, slapped away by Thomas. Stolen by Joyce, and he double dribbled, trying to come out of the backcourt.
That play was made by M.L., just making believe he was going to slap at the ball and bothering Kevin.
So the Spirits will inbound again. They lead by 15. Lewis into Mike Barr. 30 seconds gone by in the fourth. Barr drives, bounces to Carr. He bobbles, picks it up, cuts across the lane, throw it up on the run. Didn't drop, but a foul on the play. M.L. will be at the line for 2, fouled by Van Bredekoff, who picks up his third. The rebounding, interesting to note, in the third period. Only 10 for Kentucky and only 8 for the Spirits for 2 reasons. Both teams shooting very well in the quarter. The Colonels a respectable 15 of 28, 54%, and the Spirits on fire, 12 of 16 for 75%. But another factor in the relatively few number of rebounds is that the Spirits were guilty of 9 turnovers in the period against 3 for Kentucky. The free throws are split by M.L. Carr. He makes 1 out of 2. Spirits come back down now with the ball off a steal, and here is M.L. throwing in an impossible shot. M.L. Carr may not have the renown of an Irving or a Thompson, but he has put in some moves that would do both proud during the course of this season. Here is Gilmore hooking, and C.J. blocking, and they call him for goaltending. Score the goal for Artis Gilmore. 91-75, the Spirits lead by 16. Joe Mullaney up off the Spirit bench, yelling, play number 10, and then Freddie Lewis barks it out as he quarterbacks the Spirit attack. Top of the key, C.J. back to Lewis on the baseline. The jumper over Joyce is short, and Gilmore collects the carom. Looks for some help and finds Newman. Newman bounces to a driving Thomas, who lays it in. Thomas had trouble holding onto the ball, regained the handle and put it in. 91-77. The Spirit lead is down to 14 with 10:20 to play in the game. Freddie Lewis against Joyce. Downloaded Denton over Thomas. It's blocked away by Gilmore, and that's got to be goaltending. It is. And a foul. Goaltending and a foul. Denton is going to be at the line, and this could be a 3-point play. Let's pause for a moment.
Breakfast at McDonald's is a great way to start off your morning. Hot cakes and sausage, scrambled eggs and sausage, egg McKinds of juice and coffee. McDonald's in the morning. It's as natural as the sunrise.
Denton's free throw is good. A 3-point play for Randy. 94-77. Kevin Joyce stopping in the backcourt, hung up for a minute, throws it across the line where Gilmore hangs onto it, then gives to Newman. Newman on the dribble against Barr, jumps it up over him from the baseline. It spins in and out. Van Bredekoff follows, blocked by Jones, and a foul on C.J. Caldwell Jones draws only his second, which is fairly remarkable. He picked up his first on literally the first play of the game, a jump ball violation as the game began, and usually he draws a lot of fouls trying to defend against Gilmore. Of course, he has had some relief tonight from Denton, but that is still only the second foul on CJ, who went to 7 on Sunday against Kentucky.
I think part of that's because they really weren't going to Gilmore that much earlier in the game. He had that first foul before the clock ticked off the second.
Van Redekop makes them both. 94-79, Spirit lead is 15. Lewis being pressed as the Colonels put the pressure on, but he clears it out to Mike Barr. Barr on the dribble, around Newman, to the baseline, down low, in tight car, turnaround one-hander is an air ball, hit nothing, and it comes out to Kevin Joyce. He throws for Newman. Newman in the middle, whirling. Barr goes down, trying to draw an offensive, no call. Newman to Joyce, running one-hander is no good, spins out, and the rebound taken down inside of Gilmore by M.L. Carr. He backs away, waits for the coast to clear, and hands to Freddie. He gives it to Barr, and Barr brings it across. Mike now holding up in three-point territory. High post to CJ. Gilmore is on him. Off the lefty dribble, bounces to Lewis. Freddie taken by Gilmore, then left alone, lets it go. Yes, from 20 feet.
You know, we have now a 17-point lead with 9 minutes to go. It does not do to rush plays. We should run a play slowly, take a good shot. The clock's on our side, not Kentucky.
Newman threw it into Joyce. Lewis knocked it away, and Freddie thought that it went off Joyce's body and out of bounds, but Jack Madden says Colonel ball. Lewis touching it last. They inbound to Newman. He brings the dribble across at the foul line all the way, and he lays it in. Quick down Broadway. Johnny Newman, former NCAA scoring champion. Played only one varsity season in college before coming out.
That was
into
tough.
the pros with Memphis. I'm sorry, go ahead, Arthur.
That was tough defense by Mike. He funneled him in the middle. Unfortunately, nobody picked him up.
Back the other way, Spirits with the ball. Caldwell Jones way up high, bounces to ML, watched by Van Redekop. In the lane for Freddie, cutting through, and we get a foul as the pass is knocked away. Kevin Joyce drawing the personal, his second. Team foul 3, and Mike Barr will throw it in from right in front of us. 96-81, a 15-point Spirit lead with 8:38. Barr hands to Freddie. Lewis is played by Kevin Joyce, his former Indiana teammate. Freddie on the dribble. Freddie switching hands and popping the jumper. It is short this time, and the rebound is pulled down by Gilmore. Out near midcourt for Johnny Newman. Colonel's on the run. Newman's side of the lane where he pulls for the jump. It's good. Johnny Newman getting off the jump shot and making it 96-83. A 13-point Spirit lead with 8:10 to play in the game. Barr bounces to Jones. Side of the lane, Randy Denton, played by Thomas. Into the corner, M.L. Carr, 9 on the 24. He hands to Barr for the jump. Yes! Mike Barr from 17. And he has made a big contribution in this game. Newman front courts it on the dribble. Barr is playing the D. Newman right side for Van Redekop. Inside Gilmore. Plenty of help, but Gilmore misses. Gonna say he hit it anyways. He went up in tight, but it spun off. He was surrounded by 4 orange shirts. That is what you call collapsing defense.
Well, the only way you can really stop him is to keep the ball away from him, and if you don't keep the ball away from him, you better help out.
Barnes comes in. Carr goes out. Marvin playing with 5 fouls. We got a foul on that last play as Gilmore missed, and it was against Randy Denton. Ron Boone now reports back in. And let's see if Barr or Lewis goes out. It is Freddie who will get the rest. Lewis played a fine third period and early portion of the fourth. And he is patted on the backside by Joe Mullaney as he sits down. Colonel's inbound, and Johnny Newman holds it way outside. Stutter step on Barr to the foul line for the turnaround. He got it. Johnny Newman can play some one-on-one.
Well, he uses his size well because Mike had him very tight.
He has played forward at various times during his career, going nearly 6'6". Marvin with the ball down the lane for the one-hander. He was hammered and a foul. Barnes going up in the crowd, and I think that the foul will go on Johnny Newman. It is. Barnes to the stripe. 7:25 remaining in the game. 9-5, so Marvin can help the Spirits reach the century mark if he makes them both and reestablish the 15-point lead. And the free throw hit the back of the rim, bounced straight up and fell through. That's what you call, according to Marvin, I'm sure, the good touch. Let's pause for a moment.
The Great Buick dealers of Greater St. Louis invite you to test drive the St. Louis Sports Special, a full-size LeSabre V6 priced less tan $49.94.
Marvin makes them both. At the other end, Joyce misses a driving one-hander, and the ball goes off the body of Ron Thomas as it is tipped underneath and out of bounds. So the Spirits get it back, up by 15, 100-85 on the front court. Marvin, 18-foot jumper, bang! 102-85. He has scored 27. Spirits have committed only 2 fouls in the quarter. Kentucky 4 already. So from this point on in, the Spirits have the bonus. Newman from 20. He had been riding a hot hand. This one goes off the back rim. Rebound taken by Jones. Into the front court, Mike Barr. Out of the corner. Foul line, Marvin. He fakes. He jumps. He hits. Rolled around the rim and fell in. Marvin now at 29, and the Colonels want to talk it over. 6:43 to play in the game, and the score. The Spirits 104. The Colonels 85, and this is Spirits of St. Louis basketball. The Spirits, who were 12 out of 16 in the third period, have hit on 6 out of 9 at the start of the fourth. So they are absolutely sizzling from the floor in the second half. And the Colonels have been able to make no headway at all. They started the second half down by 19. They are now down by 19, 105-85, 104-85, with 6:43 to play in the game.
The Colonels got to be going crazy because they scored 55% last quarter. They're shooting 50% now, and we're still beating them. Part of that, obviously, we're hot. We're also taking the shots we should take. Mike Barr being open for a 15-foot jump shot, or Randy Denton, giving the men the shots that they know they can hit.
Artis Gilmore knows that he can hit inside, and he whirls for his patented one-footer and hits it. 104-87. The Spirit leaders 17 as Mike Barr brings the dribble to the front court. Steve Green has come in for the Spirits. Marvin Barnes going up for a jumper is stripped of the ball by Will Jones. Colonels start a break that is interrupted by Mike Barr, who knocked it away. 3-on-1 Spirit opportunity. Barr all the way to lay it in. He had Barnes and Denton down on the break, faked the pass, drew his man away, and put it in right-handed, switching the ball from the left hand. Barr has played a heck of a game. Way up top, Newman. Right sideline, Will Jones. He dumps it low for Gilmore. Back to Newman. Three-pointer in the air and in the bucket.
There's really no excuse for that. It's too good a shooter to let him take that shot.
5:50 to play, 106-90. Boone all the way, and he lays it up and no good. It is tipped in by Steve Green, but it won't count. We get a rebounding foul. Green is called for a rebounding foul as Boone made a fine move, but the shot just spilled off the rim for him. Booner not having one of his better scoring nights, but others more than taking up the... And Gilmore whirls inside for a dunk as the Spirits ask for a timeout. 106-92, and finally the Spirits do call the timeout. Mulaney was yelling timeout from the bench, but they brought the dribble to the front court first before Boone finally turned toward Jack Madden and asked to stop the clock. We have time with 5:28 to play in the game, and the Spirits up by 14, 106-92. And this is Spirits basketball. Tonight's attendance in Louisville, 8,490. The Spirits have never won here at Freedom Hall. They have lost 11 times in succession, 5 times in the regular season last year, 3 times in the playoffs, and 3 times previously this year, despite the fact that any number of those games were extremely close and could have gone either way. They are looking to break that jinx tonight, and they are well on their way toward doing it. With 5:22 to play in the game now, up 106-92. Spirit ball after the timeout. Lucas and Abram have come back into the Colonel lineup. Ron Boone on the dribble to the foul line, feeds off to Denton. Nice pass, and Randy dunks it. Boone could have popped the jumper, but he spotted Denton about 5 feet from the bucket on the baseline and threw a bullet to him. Boone has picked up at least 7 assists, and Denton gets the field goal as Gilmore whirls inside and flips it in. 29 now for Gilmore as he comes on late. Lucas took the ball away on the Spirit inbound. But Jack Madden says they never had control as they tried to throw it in. And we'll do the inbound play all over again. 4:56 to play in the game. Some perspiration accumulating in the lane down there. And the ball boy comes out with a towel to wipe it up. No, they're giving it to the Colonels. They give it to the Colonels. Lucas puts up a shot off the inbound. And we get a whistle from Jack Madden. It was Colonel ball under the basket.
I think he said Johnny Newman was over the line when he threw the ball in.
Could well have been. So the teams fluffed consecutive inbounds plays, and it's just as if nothing happened. It belongs to the Spirits again. 108-94, they lead. 14-point advantage. Side of the circle, Steve Green gives to Ron Boone, backs away from Newman. On the baseline, Denton hands to Marvin, puts it on the floor, fakes, feeds in the lane to Green off his hands and out of bounds. Green contends that Lucas touched it last. Joe Belmont was right there, though, on top of the play, and he made the proper call. Will Jones in the front court for Kentucky. Jones faking and flipping inside to Gilmore, who lays it in. Gilmore's going wild now, late in the third period and early in the fourth. 4:25 to play, 108-96 to within 12 come the Colonels. Barr, top of the key. Caldwell Jones is going to come back in and replace Randy Denton as Mullaney is unhappy with Denton's defense during the past few minutes against Gilmore. Boone off the dribble to the baseline. He feeds to Marvin, who goes up in a crowd and hits. That move by Barnes is one he has patented. When a guy like Gilmore, who's much bigger than he is, goes up and sticks the hand in his face. Here's Will Jones hitting inside to get it right back to Kentucky. Marvin simply pulls the ball back away from his body and throws it up around the body of the bigger man as he did there. Here is Mike Corner, gives to Marvin, who scored 31, shake move, pulls up. Will Jones knocked it out of his hands and out of bounds as the fans contend that Marvin shuffled his feet and should have been called for walking. Exit Denton, enter Caldwell Jones, and I believe that Mike Barr is going to go out and Freddie Lewis come in. Or maybe it will be Boone he will replace. They were about to throw it in before they let Freddie check in. And Mike Barr goes out, and he did his job more than adequately, much more than adequately. An excellent job.
He played well.
By Mike Barr. So now Marvin is set to throw it in, and does to Freddie Lewis. 3:40 to play in the game. Up high, Ron Boone. He is watched by Averett. Spirits have 6 seconds on the shot clock. Boone dishes off to Marvin, and an offensive foul as he sliced through. Offensive foul on Boone before he dished it off to Barnes. 4 on the Booner. 110-98 with 3.5 to play. The Colonels are down by a dozen and they have the ball. Newman a behind the back dribble. He holds up. He looks for Gilmore. It was knocked out of his hands. He chases it to the corner and lets it go and hits. Newman thinks it was a three-pointer. Jack Madden says he was a step or so over the line, and it counts for 2. The lead is down to 10 with 3:10 to play. 110-100. Freddie Lewis says, let's slow it up. Averett looking for a steal, and Averett knocking it away and out of bounds. 3:04 to play in the game, and the Colonels making it interesting. Spirits looking to break a 3-game losing streak overall and an 11-game losing streak over 2 seasons at Freedom Hall. Boone at the foul line, gives to Marvin for the jump. Yes, Marvin Barnes is on fire. He has scored 33. Averett across on the left. Big hoop for moving Marvin. Newman in three-point territory. Low for Lucas. Lay it up, and it bounced around and fell in. They take it away because Gilmore, or are they going to count it? They're going to count it. I thought that Gilmore had hit the ball while it was on the rim, and they were calling basket interference. And Mullaney walks out near midcourt to tell just that to Jack Madden. And now they're going to reverse the call. Madden had held up 2 fingers and brought his arm down in that sweeping motion that indicates yes, and it counts. But now they say basket interference and take it away from Kentucky.
And that ball was going to drop in, too.
It would have dropped in for Lucas, but Gilmore interfered. 2:35 to play in the game. 112-100 Spirits. They have the ball. Lewis gives to Green. Steve to Boone. Left sideline against Newman. CJ with a screen. Booner with a dribble. Down low to CJ. Knocked away by Newman. Picked up by Boone. He fakes the jump. Gilmore knocked it away and stole it. They were going to be called for a 24-second violation anyway. And they do call it a 24-second violation. Actually, Gilmore had stolen it just as the clock ran out.
So
it's really academic.
There was a mismatch when Gilmore picked up Boone and CJ had Johnny Newman on him, and Ron couldn't get him the ball.
Triple teamed is Gilmore. He hits the shot, but they call him for throwing an elbow. An offensive foul on Artis Gilmore.
You know, I clearly remember losing. We were down here last Wednesday night just on that kind of play. Artis throwing the elbow, and it wasn't called.
2:08, 2:07, 2:06 as Lewis comes across. 112-100 St. Louis. Freddie on the dribble. 35 feet out. Averett trying to hawk the ball. Up high for CJ. Watched by Gilmore. CJ on the dribble. 6 on the 24. He spins, he fires, he hits. And that should lock it up. 114-100 with 1:50. Averett accelerating in the front court. Boone on the D. Out to Newman. He wants to shoot a 3. He does shoot a 3. He misses the 3 by plenty, but it's picked up by Will Jones, and he misses a layup inside, and it's slapped out to Ron Boone. Spirits on the run. Boone throws out to Lewis, and now Freddie holds the ball and says this game is ours as the fans begin to file out, and they'll just waste the clock away. 125, the Spirits by 14. CJ with the ball. Off the dribble. He is guarded by Gilmore. He wheels inside. He lays it in. It won't count. Offensive foul on Caldwell Jones. Let's pause for a moment.
Take time out for a tall, cold glass of Stag beer. An ice-cold Stag really hits the spot. You've got a good thing going Stag.
Okay. Averett missing as he is body bumped on the baseline. He shoots an air ball. No foul is called. 114 to 100. 105 to play in the game. A big road victory for the Spirits. Tomorrow night in Virginia, if they can get a win against the Squires, they will have won 2 in a row. Indiana has to play Denver tomorrow night, so maybe the Spirits can be as close as 3.5 when they come back on Friday night, ladies' night, against the Pacers to play Indiana, St. Louis. The Spirits will gain half a game here on the idle Indiana club, move to within 4.5. If they can beat Virginia and Denver beats the Pacers, they would be 3.5 back with the head-to-head confrontation coming up against Indiana. So the Spirits still very much alive in the playoff chase. Spirits commit a turnover, and the Colonels miss a shot, and the Spirits have the rebound. 114 to 100 with 28 seconds.
After our first game down here with Mulaney as coach, he promised our team we would never lose down here again. He coached this team once, said, I know him, I know how to beat him. We did lose to them last Wednesday, but his prophecy's coming true. We've won tonight.
Foul on Caldwell Jones, his second consecutive offensive foul in the last minute, but only his 4th of the game, which means that when the issue was in doubt, he committed but 2 fouls. Newman comes across in the lane. Gilmore, they'll let him go, and he dunks it. 114 to 102. CJ asks for a timeout as the Spirits have difficulty getting the ball in. So with 14 seconds to play in the game, a game that is already over, the Spirits stop the clock, up by 12 at 114 to 102. And once again, we want to remind you that after the Spirits play tomorrow in Virginia, a game we will radio broadcast out of Norfolk, they come back on Friday, ladies' night, at the arena in St. Louis. Game time is 8 o'clock against the Indiana Pacers, a must-win situation for the Spirits. It is ladies' night. All the women can get into $3 and $5 seats for half price, and at halftime, there will be a free throw shooting contest wherein each lady who wishes to participate will take 1 foul shot, and if they hit the shot, they will receive $50 in gifts, courtesy of the Spirits. So you can see an excellent game, get in for a bargain price, and maybe walk off with $50 worth of prizes. So an excellent opportunity to come on out on a Friday night, beginning at 8 o'clock, to the arena in St. Louis as the Spirits take on the Indiana Pacers.
And those Indiana games are always such fun because of the kind of basketball they play. They run, they hustle, and fun games to watch.
It is something to see Indiana come down on a 2-on-2 break, and Keller pulls up and shoots from 30. They are a wild club.
And yet it works for them. It's the kind of basketball that wouldn't work for anyone else, but it works for them because that is their style.
I'll tell you, Bobby Leonard, although his club may finish 5th, I think is a strong contender for Coach of the Year honors, because in the consolidated ABA, every team has so much talent, and Indiana really ranks near the bottom of the talent list, and yet they're playing better than 500 basketball, with only Billy Knight qualifying as a genuine star on that club.
I think Don Boosty might take exception to that.
Well, he made the All-Star team, but I mean, he's not a super talent. He is just the kind of player that plugs away, gives you 100%, and plays the real good D. The Spirit ball with 14 seconds. They have already locked this one up. Newman leaning on Boone. 8 seconds. Boone gets off a shot, and he got it. 116 to 102 with 5 seconds, with 3 seconds. Averett thinking three-pointer, letting it go and missing it. And the game is over. The Spirits have won for the first time ever at Freedom Hall in Louisville. On the television side, we will be leaving. On the radio side, we will be back for a wrap-up. So those of you viewing on TV, thanks for being with us. And don't forget, ladies' night, Friday against the Pacers beginning at 8 o'clock. And we'll be back with a radio wrap-up after this. Either way, this is Spirits of St. Louis basketball.
Yeah, it was a long shot. But as it turned out, it was a shot worth taking. And like the rest of the guys who played in the Red, White, and Blue League, I'll always be proud of the years I spent in the late, great ABA.